perhaps you're in a leadership role. Maybe you just started as a woman in leadership. Maybe you are transitioning to a leadership role and you are trying to prepare. How can you remain calm under pressure? In this video, I'm going to give you a couple of insights that will help you to be calm under pressure as a leader. And you absolutely want to watch this video until the end because I'm going to share with you my top two strategies that I have used over the past 20 years as a C-suite executive, as a director, and as someone that has managed a lot of stresses personally and professionally to help you have something to work with so that the next time you are under pressure, you remain that very calm leader that is able to influence the room. Now, if this topic itself sounds of interest to you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. This channel heavily focuses in on advanced communication skills and strategies that will help you to communicate more confidently and concisely under pressure as a leader. If you are new to me, my name is Dr. Jacinta, and if you are one of my absolutely amazing subscribers, welcome back, friend. So good to have you here. Let me know what questions you have about this topic, and let's go right into it. A lot of times, when people tend to panic when they're under pressure, there's so many things that happen and factor into that decision that they make. Now, before I go into it, I want to know from you, have you ever been in a situation where you have panicked? Maybe you have not been calm under pressure? Put it in the comments below and we'll talk about it. I got a couple strategies. I'm going to share with you my top two, and then I'll dive into those strategies a bit more. My first strategy to be calm under pressure is to one, you have to know your triggers or your limits. Okay. The second strategy I want to share with you, and there's a lot of strategies I can share with you. So you have to subscribe to the channel to learn a lot more. But my second strategy that I want to share with you to help you be able to be calm under pressure is to put yourself in a situation where you can develop a plan very, very quickly. Now, let me go into detail in terms of how these two strategies can set a very solid foundation for you as a leader the next time you are under pressure. When these situations happen, most of the time people become very overwhelmed and they just don't know what to do. And let me explain to you why people become overwhelmed when they are under pressure. The reason why people become overwhelmed when they are under pressure is because they simply are not prepared for what is happening to them. How many of you have ever been in a situation where you found yourself not being calm at all? And thank you for the heart emojis, and I appreciate you. Thank you for that. Let me know if you've ever been in a situation where you have not felt calm under pressure. What happened? Why did you get upset? Let's talk about that today. I want to say hello to those of you watching the live today. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today. And have you ever struggled with being calm under pressure? We're talking about the big, big concepts today. I have two strategies I'm going to share with you that will change your life, that will help you start thinking about how you can be calm under pressure. I want to say hello to Israel 6712. Hello, hello. Hope you're doing well today. We have GTXOX 2000. Hello, welcome, welcome. Thank you for the smiley faces. Let me know where you all are joining from in the big, beautiful world today. And if you've ever struggled with being able to communicate or being able to just remain calm under pressure. As I mentioned, for those of you just joining, there's two strategies. One strategy, there's a lot of strategies. Let me preface it with that. But there's two that I'm going to share with you today. The first strategy is you have to know your limits or your triggers. And the second strategy is you have to come up with a plan really fast. So I'm going to go into detail on that a bit. Now, the reason why, and I thank you for the hundreds and the smiley faces, friends. The reason why my first step, and as I mentioned a moment ago, many people are not able to respond under pressure because they simply are not prepared. And if you found yourself in this situation, you happen to be a woman in leadership, you're welcome to contact me at exciteexcellence.org, and I will help you with my high stakes communication intensive so that this is not an issue for you. But if you're a man in leadership, or if you are trying to think about leadership, I don't want you to be that person that makes this mistake. You can plan for bad situations. You can plan for bad situations. It just takes a little bit of insight and knowledge to know, well, how do I do that? So we're going to talk about that in just a minute. GTXOX 2000 says, I will sub to you. Well, thank you, friend. I appreciate that. Welcome to the group where we have a set of amazing leaders across the world. This is the place for you to learn how to communicate in those very high stakes, high pressure situations as a leader. You will not be the person that freezes when you are under pressure by subscribing to this channel. You'll learn a lot of information here. As I mentioned, the reason why people freeze or get really, they kind of panic somewhat when they are under pressure is because they just haven't been prepared for it. So let me talk to you a little bit more about that. Everybody, everybody, I don't care who you are, what your role is as a leader, you are starting out in leadership, you are a world leader. Everybody has a limit. Now, what's yours? Now, when I say limit, there are triggers. There are certain situations, there are certain scenarios, there are certain words, there are certain ways that people look at you, there are certain ways that people speak to you, there are certain circumstances that will come up in your life that will trigger you into going into an emotional state. Now, if you don't know what your triggers are, I encourage you to get a pen and paper after the live and write down what are those scenarios that when you hear them, they're going to cause you to become very, very, very upset. Now, you may be wondering, well, what does that have to do with being calm under pressure? And thank you for the heart emojis. What does that have to do with being calm under pressure? Because, as I mentioned, you have to be able to plan ahead. And we'll talk about the planning part in a moment. But understand everybody has a limit. I have my limits, so does everybody else. Everybody has a limit. They have a limit. There are certain topics and subjects that you know are going to make you really upset, and you are going to potentially be very, very mad at someone if they talk to you in a certain type of way. Why does this help you be able to remain calm under pressure? I'm focusing more on the state of your mind today, not necessarily the speaking part, which is what I normally do on this channel, specifically about how do you communicate under pressure. But I want to really help you to be able to develop a a process, a way that you think through being under pressure so that you don't freeze. Now, as I mentioned, many times this situation happens because people are not prepared. If you know what your triggers are and you know exactly how you're going to respond if a certain situation comes up, then you can start to develop your own Rolodex, so to speak, in terms of this is exactly what you will do when someone speaks to you about this or asks you a question about something that's too personal, etc. Now, this is something we're going to talk about a bit more, but let me go to the chat. I saw a couple things pop up. Bailey Smith N5I. Hello, welcome, welcome. Bailey Smith says, what are you talking about? Okay, and that Bailey just joined. Well, welcome, welcome. We are talking about how to remain calm or how to be calm under pressure. And this channel, specifically Bailey, focuses heavily on advanced communication skills and strategies that will help you to speak more confidently and concisely as a leader. And we're talking about how can you remain calm under pressure. And the first thing I mentioned a moment ago, Bailey, was that you have to know what your triggers are. You have limits just like everybody else. Everybody has got a limit. There are certain aspects or certain conversations that will send you from 0 to 1,000 very fast. And it's really important for you to know what those are so that you can take some time to say, okay, if someone asks me a question about, let's say, my family, or let's say my business, or let's say a project I'm working on, or something that's deeply personal to you, you know you're going to get mad. You know you're going to get mad and upset. So, what are some things, or what are some templated responses that we can help you to develop so that you can address the situation and deflect as fast as you can? Okay, I hope that gives you some insight, and we're going to keep going into that. We have B. Sudakar. I hope I said that correctly. 7792. Hello, welcome, welcome. Bailey Smith says, please tell me. Okay, got it. Okay, fantastic. Great. I'm glad you got that, Bailey. Now, as I mentioned, we talked about this already. So we've talked about specifically why you need to be able to understand and know that you have a limit. Many people, and I'll tell you, I've seen this a lot, that this happens often. I'm a high stakes communication strategist. This is my expertise, this is my specialty. I work in those very contentious situations because I've been in them and I've had those hard conversations. Thank you for the heart emojis, friends, where people have acted out in a way that has made me feel threatened as an individual or have done something else that's just completely ridiculous. But it is very, 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 very difficult sometimes for you to just jump into a situation that completely just catches you off guard. But the way you plan for it is you have to know what your triggers are. If you know what your triggers are, this is something that will help you be that person that can be calm under pressure. Now, I'm going to go into the second strategy. My second strategy is to make a plan, not tomorrow, not later, but fast, very fast. Now, before I go into this second strategy, and as I mentioned at the beginning, there are a lot of ways for you to be calm under pressure. I have a lot of videos here on my channel that are organized into playlists that will help you to be calm and communicate under pressure. But I want to definitely go into this more, but let me go into the chat and see what's going on. Okay, we have Zico 17. Hello, Zico. How are you doing today? Zico, you have nothing to fear. Well, hello, Zico. We have GTXOX says, I'm going to play Roblox, but you're kind. Well, have fun playing Roblox, okay? The second strategy, as I mentioned, has to do with making a plan pretty quick. So if you know what your potential triggers, your limits, what your tolerance is for nonsense. Mine is very low now. It maybe was a little higher many years ago, but now it's at the bottom of the floor. I can't do it. But know what your triggers are, know what your limits are, and now let's talk about making a plan. How do you make a plan when you're under pressure? What do you all think? Can you tell me about a time when you were under pressure? What kind of plan did you come up with? How were you able to remain calm? Or maybe it didn't go the way you wanted it to go. What did you do? Let me know in the comments below. Now, this specific strategy will help you to truly move forward and be that person that can be under pressure. If you take some time and follow what I'm sharing with you, it will help you tremendously. When you are under pressure, the first thing you need to do, we already talked about, you have to know your triggers. You have to do a little bit of prep work ahead of time so that you're ready when those situations happen. But the next part of it is you have to gather data. When you're under pressure, a lot of times that emotional response will come up, and we are not thinking logically as we should be as leaders. How many of you have been in situations like that? Have you? Have you been in a situation where your emotions just completely took over you and you just did not act in the way that you know you should have? It's happened to the best of us. It's happened to all of us. But it's really important for you to be able to gather data because when you're under pressure, emotions are high, people are upset. You have to be the voice of reason, the person that can remain calm under pressure. And a great way for you to do that is to gather as much information as you can. So, what does this look like specifically as a leader? This looks like being able to collect information that is accurate as it relates to this particular situation you're dealing with. For example, let's say there's a problem with the project, or there's something going on globally that is impacting the economy of your industry, your state, or whatever the case may be. You have to find out, what do I know that is true? What information is accurate? Because when you're under pressure, you have to have a plan to say, instead of me going into panic mode, because most people will just bypass what I'm saying and go straight into panic mode, let's go into the logical executive that thinks mode, that can critically think about situations. Find out what's true, find out what's not true. And you have to do it not at a turtle's pace. You need to do it very, very fast because that's how you become very decisive as a leader. I have a lot of people ask me about, how do you learn to be more discerning? How do you become decisive as a leader or as an executive? In my case, I'm sharing with you the secrets that people are not sharing with you in terms of what really happens in real time and how you can truly be able to be calm under pressure. If there is some data, perhaps it's a an article, maybe it is a report that you're reviewing, or maybe there's something that you need to get from someone else, then you have to find the individuals in your team, in your organizations, in your businesses that are more than likely going to be able to give you the real story in terms of what's going on. I have been in situations where I have been told there's a fire. The sky's falling, everything is burning down to the ground. Now, instead of me reacting to that panic energy that I received, I said, let me reach out to A, B, and C to make sure this is actually an issue. You have to have some trusted individuals that you know will tell you what is actually going on. Now, how do you find these individuals? It takes time to develop those relationships. And you, as a leader, have to figure out when you see these situations happen or when you see there's panic that occurs, what do those individuals do? Do they go along with everyone else and panic and say, oh, the sky's falling, there's gas on the fire, everything's burning down? Or are they the people that will remain calm and try to think through it alike the way that you would? You have to find those people. Those people are very, 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 very important for you to have at any point in time. Now, when you have data, you've gathered your data, maybe there's a report you need to review, maybe there's something on the news that you need to review, as long as it's legitimate, because sometimes on the news nowadays is, and I wouldn't even say nowadays, sometimes the news is not accurate, but find out what specific data will help you in your industry. Talk to the people you need to talk to if you can, and then you have to make a plan in terms of how you're going to handle this specific situation with you being under pressure. Now, I've shared with you two strategies. As I mentioned, there's a lot more strategies that go into being able to be calm under pressure or be able to communicate under pressure. But as I highlighted at the beginning, today I just wanted to really talk about what should you be doing mentally, what should you be thinking about when that pressure starts to appear in your life or in your businesses or in your organizations or etc., so that you have some type of way for you to make decisions. Now, let me know in the comments below if you're watching live or you're watching the replay. Was this helpful to you? Did you think about things a bit differently as it relates to being able to be calm under pressure? I hope that you are able to gain from the mistakes that I've made, the successes that I have had as a senior executive to help you be able to be more calm under pressure. Because if you can be calm under pressure, that is where true leadership and influence starts to develop. Let me know in the comments below if you have any topics specifically that you are dealing with right now that are very hard. Maybe you have some difficult conversations or you have a very complex situation that's going on. You're always welcome to reach out to me at Excite Excellence on Instagram and on LinkedIn and at Dr. Jacinta Lamentai at LinkedIn. And of course, you're always welcome to leave a comment here on YouTube. Let me know what's going on. And if it's a topic that I believe requires a bit more depth, where I need to do a video to talk about it a bit more, I will do a video just for you and give you a shout out in that video. Let me know how I can support you on your journey. I'm here to help you any way that I can. I am on a mission to build the world's largest high stakes, high pressure communication content library for leaders here. And I want you to help me to do that so that we can help other leaders that may know how to communicate but struggle when the pressure's on, know how to navigate those situations. I have a high stakes communication book, book specifically that talks about communicating under pressure. It is a smaller ebook. I will be releasing that. It is going to have an assessment in it. This is going to be a bonus for you. It will allow you to start seeing how do you communicate under pressure. and it will give you a score and it will give you something to work with that you can start identifying what are your strengths when you communicate under pressure and what are the areas that you may not be as strong in that you need to work on so that you can communicate better under pressure. It's a great book. As soon as I get the logistics, the landing page, and all that ready to go, I will definitely announce it to my audience here very soon. I appreciate you all so much. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And before you go, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of content here. I have things organized in playlists now. And if you are new to me or new to this content or new to communicating under pressure, I encourage you to watch a couple of videos. Any video on my live tab or in my playlist that talks specifically about communicating under pressure, managing your emotions under pressure, eye contact, body language, tone of voice. All of those will help you to start building that foundation that you need to learn how to communicate better under pressure. I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.